Don't build an extension, just move. This is the brutal truth to what it's really like when you build an extension. Don't mind me, guys, I'm currently in my pajamas, because what happens when you decide to do this is you're actually living in it, and it is quite possibly the hardest thing of all time to ever do in your life. People warned me about this. They said, don't build an extension, just move. We love where we live. We love our location. Timing was right, and we were like, let's build an extension onto our house. Paul and I are recently married. We got married back in 2023. We decided before Valentine's Day of 2024 that we wanted to build this extension. Now we're building 33% onto our house, but it's basically a master bedroom suite. It's gonna have shower and a bathroom and a double vanities and everything like that. And it's also gonna have a little beauty area to get ready in. And it's gonna have a bed area, a media wall, and a seating area here. These two rooms, one of them is the closet over there, and the other one will be hopefully one day a nursery, but for the time being, that's my office because I work from home. Anyways, guys, I wanted to get into the brutal truths of what it's actually like building an extension, what actually happens when you do it. There's a lot of mistakes that you're gonna make. Now, I'm 36, Paul and I are not young by any means, but we're also not super prepared when it came to this stuff. We had no idea what we were doing. We have a really great property company called Lewis Properties that they are building all of this and doing all of this for us. And Jack is phenomenal. He's one of our really, really good friends, and he's just fantastic when it comes down to the designs and everything. But I wanted to talk to you guys start to finish of what actually happens, because you wouldn't know if you weren't in the industry, if you knew nothing about it. We have learned as we've gone along, so I figured we should just have the conversation, and then I'll give you guys a little tour of what's gone on so far. So we broke ground in February of 2024 of this year, and now tomorrow is August 1st. So we're just about 6 months in. But before the 6 months, you actually have to do this entire thing called planning permission. Now, I'm American. I'm sure this happens in America as well. I've never built on a house in America, so I don't know. I'm learning as I go. My husband and I, have different properties. We have this house here. We have a condo in Florida, condo here in the UK. And so we've never really built on something that was structural. We've always just, had properties in other places. So never done anything other than furnishing. And we were like, you know what? We love it here. We want to stay here. We want to grow a family here. We want this to be the place that we have, our first kids, and we don't want to leave. So we had a backyard, and in our backyard we had what's quite considered to be big garden by British standards. In the US we have a lot of open grass, and it's just called a backyard as opposed to a garden. And over here in the UK we had what I would call is a very a large garden, but we had space to build on. So you have to firstly go through this thing called planning permission. Planning permission is an absolute nightmare. Reason being, just because you just don't know if you're going to get it or not, and you spend all this money to basically have the world say yes or no whether you can build it or not onto your own land, even though it's your own land. First thing we did, we spoke to our neighbors and we said, we want to build this extension. Did anyone have any problems? And everyone's like, no, it's your land, do whatever you want. Great, fine. We're really close with all of our neighbors. Then we had an architect draw up drawings. Now that costs a lot of money, guys. That costs a lot of money and a lot of time, and he had to come and do all the measurements. But what's really cool is you get this CGI rendered thing, which is really neat. And they show you what the house is gonna look like and how it's gonna be done and how it could be done, actually. Not even how it's going to be done, how it could be done. So from there, that takes months. So we started doing the planning. We started trying to get the planning permission in, I want to say this time last year, July, August of last year. We were like, let's just see if we can get planning permission, then this is something we could do. Now we were in the throes of, I was in the throes of trying to plan a wedding. So it was very, very stressful. And Paul was dealing with most of the planning permission stuff. We had the guy coming over, measuring out the backyard, seeing what we could fit in. We could have made this into an extension with 2 bedrooms. We could have made this into a different type of extension with a family room. But what we opted for was what we wanted, that was going to be the most special to us. We knew we'd spend the most time. I wanted a bedroom, and I wanted a beautiful bathroom. My bucket list things were a beautiful bathroom that we could share, because right now we both use separate bathrooms. A space to get ready in the morning that we didn't have to fight for the mirror over, because sometimes we would be getting ready in the closet and one's trying to get ready and one's trying to, do their hair or whatever. And then a beautiful bedroom that we felt like was a sanctuary, because we spend so much time. We love our bedroom. That's what we do on the weekends. We hang out and watch movies, and I wanted a safe space for us. So what we ended up doing was speaking to a few people, and they were like, you know what, turn it into one massive room, make it one luxury room, and then turn the other rooms into secondary rooms. All right, so that was what our plan was. Anyways, the planning permission goes through. Fortunately for us, we got in on the first try, which just never happens. You spend all this money, you send it to the council, you send it to, I don't know, whoever else, and they have 30 days to sort it out. Then someone comes to the house and checks it out and sees it and like asks you about the value of your house. It's really, really tricky. And then you get an email or you get like a letter in the mail and just basically says your planning has been, you know, allowed, your permission has been allowed by the council, and you now can go ahead and plan for up to 3 years. So we had this planning permission for 3 years. So technically we did not have to do it this year, but we decided best thing that we could do is do it this year. Best thing that we could do is just get this out of the way. You know, we had just had the wedding. We know that we'll be trying for a baby soon. We know that all these bigger things career-wise are going to just continually pile up. And we were like, we have this year, we have 2024 to go and do this for the first time ever. Like we could actually do this. Everyone's like, it's gonna be so hard. You have no idea what an extension's like. It's gonna be so hard. And we were like, no, you know what? Let's just do it. We have the time to do it now. I work from home. I was like, I can do a little bit of this. We have a project manager. He had time, so that was amazing because you kind of have to arrange it around your contractors and stuff. So we said, you know what? Let's pull the plug. Let's do it. So we broke ground in February of this year. And the first thing that happened was they had to take up the garden. So the first thing you have to do is take up the garden to build structural foundations underneath the land. And we hit a massive problem. So the first thing we did was we hit this flood of water that was coming out from under the house. Now, luckily we knew the people that had done the houses before, so we knew that structurally this was normal. This was how our house had been built. We knew that there was an issue with it, but we didn't expect it to be this bad. So we kept digging and digging and digging, and as we kept digging and digging and digging, more water kept flooding out. Obviously, there was rain on top of it because you're talking February months. We're talking about cold, rainy, gross winter weather, and we have floods of water coming underneath the house. That was our first problem. That actually set us back about a full month. So the first thing that I can tell you about an extension is never go by a timeline that they give you because it will never happen, which again, first red flag. I didn't even think of that, but I probably should have thought of that. In February, our estimated ending was the end of May. We thought we'll be done by the end of May. This very, very first thing that we started set us back by a whole month. So we then had to get a company to come in to build structural foundations that were literally fit for skyscrapers. We needed to make sure the structure was fine, that we passed all the building inspection, and also so that the house would never sink or anything like that, which stuff like this you don't think of, especially when you're like me, you're like thinking about how do I want to decorate it, and oh, I love a brick wall, like things like that. You're not actually thinking about like structures and stuff. That's what we leave it to the people at, you know, Lewis Properties to sort that out. Anyway, so we did that. That set us back by a whole month. Then finally the concrete got laid to have the structurally like strong foundations for us, and that was probably, I would say, well into March that we had a structure. And it was kind of cool because we had gone out into our backyard. We had AstroTurf where this now is, and we had planned out, we'd like done a little drawing with like spray and just kind of gone, well, this could be the bedroom, this could be this. And you kind of try to visualize it and kind of try to figure it out. And we had this 3D rendering plan, but we were like, maybe we want to flip the bed. I'm not sure where we want to put things, like, you know, what will we do inside it? We just need the structure. So then we got a layout, and basically you could see like a little maze, which was kind of cool. That I thought was really fascinating. It was kind of cool. You could see like a little maze in it, and I was like, that's cool. That's how the house is going to be. And honestly, from this point on, things move really fast. Then you get the bricklayers in, the bricklayers come in, and they're just like stacking shit. Like literally, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Within a day, like we had structures and we had a wall on either side. Within a week, we had an entire like box of a wall. Within, I would say like 2 weeks, we were starting to kind of have like a roof and things like that to build up. The roofers come in, they start doing it. Then we had the shingles, and the whole important thing of all of this is to make sure that it gets watertight. So that took about 2 months, I would say, give or take. We had windows put in. I'll show you guys all of this after. We had windows put in that we wanted, so the structure of the roof had to stand up by itself without any supports and stuff. So that was kind of interesting to see how they did that. But as we watched it go up, it was fascinating because it literally goes up brick by brick by brick. And you watch these guys, and it was like, I remember sitting in my kitchen and being like, that is absolutely fascinating. Like how fast they do it, how methodical they do it. It's just like everything you see on Instagram, and it was great. So all that got done. The walls and stuff got put in, the cinder blocks, the bricking, everything. And then the roofing went in. Once the roofing went in, then we had skylights that had to be fitted. We ended up only going with one. We were actually supposed to go with 6. We were supposed to have 6 skylights on either side, so 3 and 3. And we decided not to. We said, we're just gonna do one. We've got beautiful windows here. We'll save the money there. And we've decided on this other part of our extension that's in the house that we would add a different skylight to match the one that's in the house already. So we opted to keep this room a little bit darker, a little bit cozier, which right now, guys, I'm here and it's 6 p.m. on, I don't know what day today is, but it's 6 p.m. And you can see the sun is like coming right in it. I don't have any lighting on here. So this is just, I think we made the right decision with that. Still having them work only outside the house, which was great because it wasn't a problem. They were only outside the house. They would come around the back, they installed a portaloo, they did all that. I just hardly saw them. It was great. So for the first 3 months, I would say February, March, April, that was pretty easy. That was, they were out here doing everything they had to do. I felt really bad for them. Some days it was rainy. They got called off. That was really, really hard because it was like, oh God, like it feels like it's dragging, but there's nothing you can do about rainy days. Then by the time we got to May, we hit May and they had to knock into the house. So these were windows originally. Those were actually windows and the window went up to like there, and that was brick wall, obviously on the bottom of it. And then that was a window and that was a window. And instead of taking these windows and boarding them out completely and them being rooms, we decided to keep them as like Jack and Jill rooms. So this is our closet that will stay our closet. So this master suite will just be our suite with a walk-in closet. And then that will be hopefully one day a nursery, and we'll have access to it either side, and also it will be my office for the time being, so I could access my office from either side. And we've opted that we're going to go with these sliding mirrors that will go across it, so you won't even know that they're there. They look like hidden little doors. So that was cool. That was really, really exciting. When we started to see that they cut into the house, and that was exciting. However, now we've lost 2 rooms. So we live in a 3-bedroom home, and we've lost 2 of the rooms. One's my office, one's my closet, mine and Paul's closet, and mine and Paul's office, obviously, but I do most of my work in the office, and to be honest, we have all of our clothes in the closet. So we then had to buy racks and things and start living in the kitchen. Now, living in the kitchen is an absolute nightmare. We have all of our clothes in the kitchen. We have all of my work stuff from the office in the kitchen. We have all the dog stuff in the kitchen, things that you don't realize that you accumulate over time. Everything is in the kitchen right now, and that's been really hard. So we've had May, June, July that we've been living now the last 3 months with these rooms not being finished. It is hard, I'm not gonna lie. We're really, really struggling with it. We've had to make decisions that were really hard. So this wall was an exposed brick wall, and we wanted to keep it exposed. But because of the elements and because of other reasons I won't even go into other reasons, but there was plumbing and things like that, there were holes, etc. We've had to go, no, we'll plaster it up. But because we're plastering up, we were like, well, we want brick slips on it. We wanted that look of the brick wall. So we've had to pay to put brick on top of the brick, which again, probably first mistake. We should have gotten them to clean it and not put other things on it, but we made the decision. Paul really wanted it. I know it's gonna look beautiful. He wanted it to be this beautiful brick walled room, and I actually think it's gonna look gorgeous, and I'm really glad that we did do it in the long run, but ultimately that took a lot of time, and as you can see, there's only a section of it done, and I'll show you guys the full place afterwards. Then we had to extend into the hallway, which was really hard. So not only did we lose 2 rooms, we lost an entire hallway, a bathroom, everything like that. They had to build like a little stud wall so the dog couldn't get into here. Thankfully now he kind of knows not to come in here at this point in time. Obviously when it's our bedroom, he will come in. Live in there with 2 different ceilings, 2 different walls, 2 different structures, a hole in the ceiling, stuff like that. So we've had to live almost exposed to the elements, like with open doors and stuff for a little while, which we didn't expect. I think we thought once they cut through that it would just be like a month, and it's actually been 3. It just takes a while, and it's not really anybody's fault, but I can tell you one mistake that I definitely did make is once it started to go up and the walls went up and the plastering went in, and now we've got a beautifully plastered wall with they've plastered it and it just needs to be painted or covered in bricks, and then these walls have been plastered, and I'll turn this around and show you guys. Once they got plastered and sorted, we needed to plaster in there as well, and in doing that we had to come into our house again, which again then takes up space and time, and now everybody's in our house. Now the plumbing also comes from that side of the house as well, and into the loft and things like that, so we've had to completely, things that I would say that I made a massive mistake on is I didn't realize once this plastering went up that things would be go, go, go. So I hadn't ordered the taps. I just assumed that these taps and stuff, now this is a very dumb thing and very female of me. I thought that everything was standard. I thought that the taps that go behind the wall, you just changed the faucet. If you wanted it to be gold, you could buy gold ones. If you wanted it to be silver, you could buy silver ones. I didn't really think anything of it. That is not how it works. They have to have the exact matching pieces. So I ended up going with this company called ABI Interiors. Paul and I found this beautiful picture of a shower that I fell in love with, and it had this gold faucetry, I don't know, gold faucets and stuff in it. And I was like, this is stunning. Of course, it's from freaking Australia. So that took weeks for that to come in. It took about 3 weeks for it to get ironed out and sorted. The stuff that's come in is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I'll show you guys that as well. Faucets are just stunning and they're beautiful quality, and it was expensive but worth every single penny of it. But now that's ready to get installed, but things couldn't keep going until that was done because the plumbing needs to be in. And as they slowly keep doing this, what you guys will realize is it's a trickle effect. So the underfloor heating couldn't go in until something else was under it. And then this is called screed. Screed couldn't go in until the underfloor heating was in, and it's a whole like tick, 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 trickle effect. Something that I didn't realize either is, we had to order the bath. Luckily, the bath came within a couple days. Things are slowly starting to move again, but they hadn't been for a long time. The hardest bit is not knowing what you're doing. You didn't have any idea that you were supposed to order all that stuff in that time. You didn't realize there was a long wait time. I didn't know that things might not be in stock. I didn't know that our toilet's not going to come in until mid-August. I didn't realize that a lot of the stuff would just not be readily available or readily accessible. Also, I didn't know that the builders that we had hired for this job, that they might not be accessible. So as time's gone on, I've made these mistakes. As you can see, I'm by myself in here because they have other schedules and they have other things. And what's the worst bit about learning how to plan this and learning how to do this is you're gonna run into mistakes that you make no matter what. And Paul and I have definitely made a few. Like, we definitely messed up when it came down to, timing wise with ordering stuff. We made a mistake when it came into like having to have things changed back to how they were before. Or I don't think we made a mistake on the skylights in here, but there's beautiful paneling in here now. Would we have just stuck with paneling if the brick slips hadn't come in? Things like that. So we've made a few mistakes with it, but I think it's all part of a learning curve. And I think the brutal reality of doing this is really hard, and it's become extremely difficult, to be honest. If I'm being brutally honest, it's become extremely difficult to live and work and be in this house all day, every day, because I live and I work here and there's no safe sanctuary of a home for us right now. So it's been 6 months, and I keep telling myself 6 months is going to be, it's going to go by fast, and it has gone by fast. And what they've done in here is incredible. Like, if you guys could see it, I will show you. It's just freaking stunning. But it takes a long time. Like, the electrics have to come in. There's wires hanging from walls. It just keeps happening, and it takes a really long time. And there are a lot of things that you don't realize in doing an extension that you just think, oh, it won't be that hard. It's a subliminal stress on your body every single day. I could never have done this and been pregnant or had a baby or anything. And I'm so glad, actually, that Paul and I said, let's do this extension now before we get anything committed, like before we commit to anything serious meaning having a child. Like, we got married in December and started this right away, and now I think we'll be in such a better place once we have a home sanctuary again, because we really, really miss having our house back. It is extremely hard. I don't know how people do this with children. I don't know how you do it with kids. We're really struggling to it with the dog, because he wants to come in here all the time and he has nowhere to pee, and so he's acting not like himself, and he's got diarrhea every day, and he's just a nightmare. And I'm like, if that's how we feel with the dog, how would we handle this with a child? I do think that we made the right decision. I'm really, really proud of us for going ahead with it and for, investing the money into our home as opposed to investing the money on, expensive clothes or anything like that. We said, let's put the money into our house and let's make this place exactly what we want it to be. Let's make it our sanctuary. Let's fall in love with it all over again. Because when we first moved into our house, we loved it so much, and we still love our house. It still is our special place, but it's really hard now because things have been torn up for 6 months. So cross your fingers that this is going to be done soon. Next week, the schedule is for them to start flying through stuff. Plumber comes in actually tomorrow. So Dan gets in here tomorrow. He's going to start setting up those gold faucets. I've spoken to someone about the closet, because the closet needs to be restructured. We need to build into that because there was a door in there. I don't know if you can see, but on this side, where is it? That side, there was a door. That door has been boarded. Now we need to put a second closet in it because it just looks off balance. We need to build a closet for in there. We need all these things that just take a long time to do, and working with numerous amounts of people, it's extremely, extremely hard. But the brutal truth of it is, I think we've made the right decision. Brutal truth just in general of having a house is it's never finished. It doesn't matter what you do, your house will never be finished. Whether you're building an extension on it, whether you're doing your garden, because then our garden will come next, and our garden is a shit show. It's awful out there. No matter what you're doing, your house is never done. So enjoy the process. Those of you that have moved into like a new build or a home that they love or they feel really safe in. My goal was to get this entire thing finished by July. We're definitely not there yet. I made my new goal to like have this whole thing finished by September. I would love it if I could have a safe space by September again. But, you know, this will get sorted and soon, and I can't wait to show you guys the developments with it. But I wanted to tell you guys about like the brutal truths of it. It's not easy. It is very difficult. We have had a harder time than I thought that we would. I thought it would be easier with the dog, with life, with schedules, with people coming in and out of the house. We've had a harder time than we anticipated it, and it's really hard. Building an extension is everything that everybody says it's gonna be. Listen to everybody when they tell you, oh yeah, it's difficult, that's gonna be really hard. I was like, no, it'll be a breeze for us. It is not a breeze, let me tell you. It is difficult. We're just really fortunate that we have a good team that's working with us. We have a really good team that's sorted things out and creative minds and has great ideas, and that's the fortunate part about it. And me and Paul are such creatives. We want to be involved in everything, and I think that that's really fortunate to find a contractor that you love that will let you be a part of everything, and thankfully we have that in Jack. But it just takes time, and I think that people underestimate how long it's gonna take. Anyways, guys, this is the reality of it. It looks all glitz and glam on the outside, but let me show you. This is what we're looking at. All right, let me show you what happens when you first come into the room. As you enter into the room, we've got a lovely little brick wall here, and then that will be the closet, and that will be the office, and hopefully, you know, baby room one day. Our bed will come out from here, and see this pole there? That will be actually a media wall. And that's gonna be really cool. I can't wait for Jack to build that. And he built this awesome wall here that I love the paneling on. It looks so nice. And over here we have these open windows. So when you take a left and you walk into here, you'll see our bathroom. And this is gonna be a bathtub with, oop, that's a ladder. Is the bathtub, and then that's gonna be a double vanity followed by a double shower over there in the corner. So there'll be little faucets on either side, a toilet here, and obviously the ceilings go up so high. So I can't wait to see how this turns out. He's done some amazing paneling, as you can see on the walls here, and I want it to be everywhere, I think. This paneling is my absolute favorite. And then our bed will come out from there, and this wall will get completely brick slipped, which I think is gonna look really cool. And then this will be like my little beauty area. So that's gonna be like a little beauty setup area with some closets and cabinetry and stuff in there. And it's just gonna look absolutely stunning once it's done. I love the natural light that comes in. And this has also been added onto our house. So if you can see, we've got that there to, you know, hide the dog. But as you can see, we've added a lovely little skylight. So that will have some cool lighting in it. And you can see our garden is a hot mess. But this is the, what would you call that? This is the back door, sorry, this is the back door that's been moved out, and all this is a brand new addition to the house. So all that is added on. We had stopped halfway through there, like basically right there was the door. Isn't that cool? So it's coming along, guys, and yeah, really grateful to the team that's doing it for us. We genuinely love them. I just think the brutal truth of it is, it's hard. It is not easy. Let me tell you something. It's hard for everybody involved, but it is coming along, and it's gonna look stunning, and I'll keep you guys updated.